Happy Saturday, Insomniacs. I said the thing. Let's see. I don't expect us to have too many people here. At least not yet. As per usual. We got other people streaming, so I'm not going to be sad if we're not in the chat. We got a couple of questions already, or at least a couple of messages to go ahead and kick off for me to not fall behind on today. We'll see. Doubtful, but there's always a new day for a new chance. What's up, Sinesh? How long do you think the final episode of The Flash is going to be? It's going to be 43 minutes. It's going to be the same length as any other episode. I hope it's an hour or two and not 42 minutes. It's going to be 42 minutes. And I think that in this final episode, Chester is going to die by Reverse Flash. Why do you think that? I mean, if you know, like, leaks or stuff like that, yeah, don't tell me. But, like, I haven't seen anything that alludes to that. I highly doubt it. I mean, like, you know, it is what it is. I mean, if it happens, it happens. But I can't imagine so. But I'd be sad. I like Chester. What's up, D. Cole? I wonder what the odds are for Guardians spoilers this week. Had to skip the last one because I won't be able to see it before it gets to Disney+. I mean, I'm not banning spoilers, so if somebody brings it up, though, that's... You're playing a dangerous game. I only bar spoilers in our live chats the weekend of the release, so... Be here at your own risk, Zaven. Grant said that he would return as his version of the Flash if asked. Pagey did a video about the article that covered the interview, Multiverse chapter after Gods and Monsters chapter. Oh, that could be cool. That would be interesting. That would be fun. I would like that if they just kind of tap back into it, because as we know, they're not killing off the Arrowverse at the end of this. I mean, the shows are coming to an end, but the universe will still exist. Those characters and those adventures will still exist. So as long as anybody is willing and able to see if that's any better. Man, my internet pisses me off, man. It's at least stable after I changed the FPS because it was still at 60. Which it doesn't need to be for these talking head things, but like at 2500 KBS, it shouldn't matter. God, it's so frustrating. Anyway, the realization that, you know, the show came to a conclusion because Grant just wanted it to end. He wanted to leave. So, I don't know. I don't know if that makes it better or makes it worse, but all the same, I'm sad to see it go. It's not by any stretch of the imagination a perfect ending or conclusion or perfect final season, but it's far from the worst finale season I've ever seen, so I'm still enjoying the ride. Now that Titans is over, how about Anna Diop for Storm? That could be cool. I would be totally down for that. I like her a lot. I hope Barry takes on all the speedsters at once and not let the side characters do anything, especially Cecile. Well, you're not going to get that wish, that's for sure. What do you think Star-Lord could return in? Secret Wars, Kang Dynasty, any number of things, really. I mean, he's on Earth, so... And there's a spoiler, I guess. Hope Zaven left by this point. But aside from that, I don't know. It could really be any number of things at this point. But honestly, I have no idea. If they cancel Superman and Lois, I'm going to freaking freak. And the bit rate. I just got a bitrate message. I mean, I didn't lose any frames, but... Okay, well, I don't know. Maybe YouTube's freaking out. Oh, it's just because it doesn't like 2500 to begin with. We recommend we use a stream bitrate of 4500. Well, unfortunately, I can't achieve 4500 anymore, even though I have 45,000 upload. It pisses me off, man. God damn it. Anyway, yeah, man. Especially the fact that they went ahead and let us know that the season is ending in a cliffhanger too. So if it does get canceled, we're not going to get a conclusion to said story. What's up, Savage? It's good now. I thought it was on my end. No. My I don't know. Something with the stream got real wonky. What's up, Mercenary? What's up, Tiff? How are you doing? What's up, Good Vibes? I'm doing pretty good today. Rewatched a lot of reactions to Andor, and it was such a fantastic show, so tightly written. Also enjoying how emotional it got people who started with mixed expectations. I agree with that too, because I think by the end of it, a lot of people turned around on it. Again, people today just don't have any patience for storytelling, it just seems like, and it's really freaking annoying. Like, guys, you're never gonna get the full story up front. You get a build up. Like, I don't know. Like, everybody needs like a huge, shocking, gripping, like, action hook, because people are just too, I don't know. I'm getting preachy. Back in my day, kind of feeling I'm getting out of it, but like, yeah, people are just, I don't know. I don't know what expectations are anymore these days, man. And I found that really annoying. And then you saw a lot of people turning around on it once things started to pick up, but you wouldn't have a lot of those elements or a lot of those payoffs if you didn't have those earlier episodes. That's how writing works. Superman and Lois is pretty much canceled. In one way, I am sad, and the other same time, karma is a bitch, Mr. Helbing. Yeah. I mean, it would have been unavoidable either way. You know, had he stuck himself in the Arrowverse, it would have happened regardless. It doesn't really matter in the end. But it's not 100% canceled yet. Reports are saying one show will remain. So it's still in the running, even though it's unlikely due to how expensive the show is. It's the most popular of the two, but it is the most expensive of the two. So we'll see what happens. Something that I realized recently is Viserys is the Qui-Gon Jinn of House of the Dragon. Pretty much. He had his heart in the right place, though he was too forward thinking and wasn't thinking about the present, which is very much what Anakin was all about. So he had the failings of Anakin, but the heart and the ideals of a Qui-Gon, I'd say. He wasn't looking at what was happening around him. Honestly, you could say he was also he's a representative of the same faults of the council themselves, being ignorant to what's happening around them, with their heads buried in the sand, which is very much what Viserys was doing the entire time. What's up, Jamie? On Twitter, I saw that your 35-year-old has shocked me as all to hell. Thought you were in your late 20s or something. Nope. Not anymore. Not anymore. I feel like I end up rewatching movies more than 7 to 8 to 10 range than I do ones that are 10 out of 10. I think it's because they're just more fun. Yeah, I feel you there too. Like cinema films, I don't always find that rewatchable. I rewatch fun schlocky stuff, things that don't require a whole lot of paying attention a lot of the times. I mean, like, one of my most watched movies, easy of all time, is probably Tremors 2. That's definitely not a perfect movie, man. But I've probably watched that movie more than any other movie I've ever watched. So yeah, I don't think that's weird at all. Because honestly, for rewatching a movie, when I put something on to rewatch it, I've seen most things, and I want something that's not going to be heavy when I want to rewatch something most of the time. So I put something on fun, something that doesn't require any heavy attention. So usually I watch sequels a lot of the times, because the first entry has a lot of that, like, ooh, what's going on? What's happening? And then you kind of don't have that in sequel films. So like Lion King 2, Blade 2, what was I just talking about? Tremors 2. A lot of those films, like, I watched endlessly just because the story we were already in the middle of the story, so I didn't have to really kind of pay attention to the setup a lot of the time. So yeah, that's a quirk I can relate to personally. Carlos Valdez is confirmed to not be in the series finale, but part of me hopes it's a lie to surprise people. I did see that. And like I was already prepared for him to not be in the finale because like months ago we had a report that he hadn't been called in. But apparently they had tried, I guess, and it's all scheduling. Like they could not find time where he could be there, which sucks. But again, I in some vain hope for optimism, I hope you're right about that, and it's just a publicity lie, and we'll be shocked and happy and surprised when he pops up, if he pops up. What's up, Larson? Long time, man. Hope you're doing well. What's up, Blade? Also feel that Cobalt Blue is very poetic to be the final villain, especially since he was the focused side character for the first season. I love it. I love it as a bookend because it really takes us back to season 1, to everything that happened in that first season and really set the stage for the show to come. I agree with you on that part. I like that they saved him for the final arc, and yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun. I like that thematically. Even if the season as a whole has been a little rocky, but I like that decision at least. There's a certain Fast X cast member getting major backlash on Twitter for spoiling the movie this weekend. Really? I wonder who it is. I have a guess. Certain X cast member. Message me later because I'm very curious. Unless I stumble upon it myself because I haven't seen anything yet. But I have 2 guesses. One is higher than the other. Again, this movie just came out, so I would like no spoilers for Fast 10. Not that I imagine most people in our audience probably watched it. But just in case, gotta do my due diligence. I didn't even think about it for actually. I had fun with the movie though, but yeah, there's a couple of twists and turns that definitely should not be spoiled yet. The day, not even the day, like it's still the weekend. And oh. It's weird, if I just stop and start it, it works again, which doesn't make any sense. Let me try. Let's see. We coming back? Are we coming back or are we not? Preview's not back yet. Are we back? Okay. Jesus. Like, this is pathetic. Like, I need to move because, my God, this is pissing me off. This is the lowest possible thing I could stream at, and it's still struggling. And I've got their highest speed package, man. And again, like I've said many times before, all the speed tests say everything is working tip-top, but every time I try to use it, and they don't believe me, pisses me off, man. I've literally raged about this shit, dude. It's so aggravating considering the way the internet is, like, internet ISPs handle things in this fucking country, dude. Anyway, I love Superman and Lois. I hope it gets one more season so it can wrap up its storytelling and maybe get the kids to finish high school. I don't know if that'll make Clark and Lois empty nesters or not. I just hope that if the show does come to a conclusion that they let them finish. But the way things are looking, if it doesn't get renewed, that probably won't happen, which sucks. What does it sound like when Cecile is using her powers? I don't even know how to describe that sound, man. I really can't think of a good way to do that at the moment. What are your predictions for episode 13? What do you expect from this episode? I think Barry's about to throw down with all of his greatest heavy hitters, and it's going to be crazy. Can't wait. Cannot wait. If you could have written Red Death arc, how would you have written it? With more Red Death, with some actual death, even if it's not like a main character or anything, but actually have her kill some people because she didn't. Like, it was just like, she didn't do shit, really. It was, I like the rogue stuff. I like Barry getting his team of rogues and they're being against another team of rogues, but then Red Death themselves did absolutely nothing. Most rewatched movie is probably Star Trek Reboot or Pacific Rim. Nice, nice. What are your thoughts on filler episodes in general? I understand their existence and sometimes they can be good. You know, I think they're necessary for some types of shows. It just really depends on the format. And they can add context and growth to characters that normally wouldn't get that time or attention in the main storyline. I think they can be done well, and I've seen them done well. But yeah, I don't hate them innately or dislike them innately like some people do. I think filler can be written well and done well and executed well, but we don't really see it all that often. Can't believe the series finale of Flash is next week. Been with the show since season 4 started. Damn, man. I started the show when the show started. I started Arrow in season 2 when season 2 was airing, so by the time Flash came out, I was already caught up and ready to go, man. But yeah, it's kind of crazy that we're at the end of the road. Who's your favorite female killer in the Scream franchise? I was like, how many are there even? I guess Jill. Unless, well, can you technically count Sam? Because if you can count Sam, I will go with Sam. Otherwise, I guess Jill would probably be my favorite, or Miss Loomis. My opinion, as much as I love the MCU and DC films, I think television is the home of superhero media. What do you think? I think I prefer it just because you can get more long-form, thought-out storytelling when the writing is on point and working. It's just the budgeting might not be where we want it to be, or we might not get the scope that we want it to be, just because budgets for TV will start to balloon if you have something effects heavy, which has been the problem for the CW for a long time because they need these long episode orders to survive. So there's a drawback to it. We wouldn't get these crazy bombastic stories we used to get, but I do think that I don't know, television just allows you to actually develop your characters a little bit. It's a little bit of a catch-22. I think some things you can do well on film, but I think TV these days is the I don't know, man. I feel like TV is more investing than film anymore. Because I feel like that line is kind of getting blurred as things kind of advance and, you know, storytelling starts to mature a little bit. What do I know? Never watched any movies, so don't care. Well, you might not, but that doesn't mean everybody else doesn't. So, again, respect. This Flash was 50-50. I loved Grant and Rick, but absolutely loathe Cecile fans hate Felicity. What does that have to do with anything? They have good reasons, but Felicity at least has character development and didn't hog up the final season. What is that correlation? I don't understand how we get from Cecile to Felicity. They've never even really been in the same room together. Message you on Twitter. Okay, I'll check it out here in a little bit. PlayStation Showcase is in 4 days. Hoping there's Spider-Man 2 gameplay or a new trailer. I hope so too, and I'm also crossing my fingers for some Kingdom Hearts 4 news, because I want that more than anything else out of all of that. Just curious, to spit parallel avenues, the Power Rangers franchise, I think you'd thoroughly enjoy the fan series Power Rangers Unworthy. It's mostly to do with MMPR stuff, so you won't feel lost. Is it like live action? What is it? I'd be curious to look into it. I've not heard of it though. Anyone who takes Fast and Furious seriously is setting them up for massive disappointment at this point. Exactly. It's just dumb popcorn fun. It's like in my review, it's basically an anime at this point. Like, it's a shonen anime. Like, and if you think of that from that and like an RPG kind of standpoint, a lot of things make a little more sense, considering the people behind it. Like, it started off again very grounded, very real, and it just kind of, as these things like reach a point, they start to escalate. And it was really about Fast 5, I would say, when things really started to kind of blur that line of what is acceptably unreal. And then from 6 onward is when they really started to like jump the shark every entry, even though Fast 7 is my favorite in the entire franchise. Absolutely love that movie. But there's a lot of really solid, grounded, good entries as well. Like the first film, Fast 5 is really good. Fast 7 I love. But like everything after 7, like it's been a little, I don't know, it hasn't really gripped me all that much. Hobbs and Shaw was fun, it was fine, but Fate of the Furious was probably my least favorite in the entire franchise. 9 was okay. John Cena made up a lot of it, but it was also very forgettable. But 10, I had a blast with it. But it is just ridiculous at this point. You just kind of have to know what you're here for. No one dies, no one's gone, bad guys become allies. Like, it's just an anime. It's an anime. What's up, Tharuka? Unworthy is amazing shows. Amazing story-wise in terms of fan-written. Again, I have to look into it. I haven't heard of it. Just joined. Hope everything is doing well. Hope everyone is doing well. I'm doing pretty good today, and I hope everybody else is doing well as also. Is something wrong with the internet? I don't know if it's the internet or my stream settings, but yes, it keeps cutting out from my end, so it's not you guys. So there might be a little hiccups here and there. I hear and see you. We are back. Technical issues. I blame Skynet. Fuck you, Skynet. I blame Optimum is who I blame, who is my ISP. And they can fuck right off. Because I go down the street, literally down the street, because there's a cutoff, again, in the US. There's no competition. They literally segment off and monopoly different territories. So my only choice is Optimum, unless I move. But if I go down the street, outside of their barrier, literally one town over, and use Comcast, everything works perfect. Anyway, Warrior Season 3 is coming out next month, and I'm hyped as fuck. I know you won't be reacting to it since you haven't seen it, but I hope that one day you give it a shot because it's great characters and fights. I've heard nothing but great things about it, and I do plan on checking it out eventually, especially for the themes and the people that are in it. I've heard great things about the action for that show. Not going to be able to see Fast X till next week, but I'm curious, where would you rank it as far as the franchise goes? Probably high middle. I mean, what, we're on 10 films now. 11 if you include Hobbs and Shaw. But I mean, I would go like 7, 5, 1, 3, 6. Actually, I put 6 above 3. And then probably 10, 4, 8, 9. No, 2, 9, and 8. I think 8's the only one I have left. I didn't put Hobbs and Shaw anywhere in there. So, same list, but just slap that above Tokyo Drift. Actually, slap it below Tokyo Drift, because Tokyo Drift gets a lot of hate. I think that's where I would kind of put everything. So it's like, where did I have it? Like, I'd put this above Hobbs and Shaw, so I think I actually had that. So, what was it? 3 then? Anyway, you guys have the ranking. Just slap that in there somewhere. But below Fast X. I would put Hobbs and Shaw under Fast X. Do you think Barry and Iris will have twins in the end? I doubt it. I think they've already confirmed that she's only carrying one kid at the moment. If Graham returns as his version of the Flash, we better get the Flash theme. I actually said that earlier. I did read that, though. Are you going to play Zelda Tears of the Kingdom? I probably won't stream it or record it if I do, because it's a huge game. And I still haven't finished Breath of the Wild. I still have to finish the castle. I've seen the film Fanboys. I own the film Fanboys. So yes, I have. Bro! I saw Sisu last night, and it was so good. You have to watch it. It didn't play in theater. It's not playing in theaters here. Like, I don't have it to watch. I've seen the trailers for it, but I can't watch it until it hits streaming or something. I don't know if it is streaming or though. Like, I haven't checked. I assumed, I thought it was a theatrical release. I read IGN and Decider article on the CW under Bark Bedowitz and how I recommend you read that. You read it. Okay. I'll see if I can find it. You know, maybe check it out later. I just hope Superman Lois finds its way to survive and is picked up by Max. I would hope so, but I don't have high hopes at all right now. What are your thoughts on Oliver resurrecting everybody who died in the finale of Arrow? Some people dislike it, some like it. I like it. I liked it. I mean, he didn't bring back everybody. Obviously, his father's still dead. Obviously, Laurel's still dead. People who cemented the reality of that world needed to stay gone. And I don't mind it. I mean, it's his world. So I think he deserves what he deserves, man. I totally was fine with all of that. Haven't seen the trailer for Five Nights at Freddy's. Yes, it's on the my reaction's on the channel. Yeah, filler episodes can be done well. My favorite show, Babylon 5, has loads of filler episodes, yet those are needed because they add a lot of characters in the universe. Exactly. Are you creeped out by the advancement of AI? I'm not creeped out about it. I'm more, like, concerned about people's obsession with it because, like, they literally want... There's a lot of people that are just vying to remove human interaction from everything possible. Like, some things I can understand it, like in certain aspects, like dangerous jobs and stuff like that, but like really, like, that want to just erase human creativity altogether, and AI just cannot replicate it. Well, that's the thing. It can replicate it, but it cannot create new things. Like, that's the downside that people don't understand. Like, it's just... I don't know. People's obsession with AI, while it's cool as a tool and as an idea, people are just like blowing it out of the water. Like, it's this magic cure-all to all kinds of different things, and it just isn't. I'm not really creeped out by AI, but I'm more like disappointed in the brain-dead shit that just goes through people's brain now that it's out there and it's advancing like it is. Unworthy is live action. It keeps the essence of the franchise, but keeps the balance between that and making it a little mature, or taking it in a mature direction. I'll have to look into it. I'll check it out a little bit later. I'll see. Do you think the Five Nights at Freddy's is going to do well, even though it's only PG-13? Yeah, I asked about that in my reaction because I wasn't sure what the rating was. I mean, I'm sure it'll do just fine. I mean, it goes into some. I mean, from what I understand, I think it does go into some kind of dark themes. But as far as that, it's not like a gory game or anything like that. So I don't think Five Nights needs to be anything other than a PG-13. So I imagine it'll do fine. And it's going to make its bottom dollar because that age range is perfect for the generation that's growing up with this series. P1, sorry, I meant Cecile is just so boring, so I'm trying to defend her, saying that she's better than Felicity. I would disagree on it because Felicity has a thing she sticks with. Cecile is so OP. It's almost laughable that she doesn't want to be the head of some Supreme Court, that she wants to be a hero. Sorry, I just don't buy that. It's boring despite having dedicated solely, feels empty just there. Someone tried to claim she has character development. No, she doesn't. As she has a backstory. Her backstory didn't help at all. Backstory doesn't equate to character development. If that's true, Will and Elizabeth are the most complex characters in the Pirates movies. That's fair comparison. No, I agree with you there. I do think Felicity is a vastly superior character than Cecile. Cecile's a character they've not known what to do with after introducing her. Like, they did the Jost plot, they did her and her attorneying, they did all this other stuff, her helping metas, and now she's a hero, now she's got powers and blah, 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 blah. She shifts and focus all the time. She's, like, at least Felicity was consistent the entire way through, even if maybe her personality in once wasn't. Her role in the show never really changed. Yeah, I don't know. I agree with you on that. In your opinion, how do you know the fine line between short ending to a short ending too short or going on for too long? Just feeling. Like, how does it feel? Does it flow? Are you left with questions? Are you satisfied? Those are the questions that I asked when I'm like, did we answer all the things we needed to answer? Did we thematically wrap up? How many loose ends do we have? Those are just kind of the questions I roll around in my head when I'm like considering how I feel about an ending. Do you think that Barry will appear in the Flash movie after the final season of the Flash? Well, the director at least has said that he's not. That they were going to, but they couldn't fit him into the film. So he said that a few weeks ago. So unless that was a bold-faced lie, and he's going to be in there to surprise us, which, again, I feel like he should have been the priority cameo. But yeah, I don't expect to see him in the Flash anymore. Unworthy has 4 episodes currently, so if you like the pilot, you can dive deeper into it. I wanted to bring it to your attention because there's a couple times I got emotionally involved and cried. Like, is it centered around the same characters? Like, just, a fan film about the same cast? I know you said it was more MMPR focused, so is it just following, like, the main team? Sisu is streaming now. Where? So maybe I can check it out. Did you check out the new Mortal Kombat trailer? And like clockwork, once game is revealed, DLC, like always, got leaked. Pics of 6 characters are Takeda, Ermac, Quan Chi, Homelander, Peacemaker, and Omni-Man. I did see the leaks. I did watch the trailer. I didn't react to it just because with how YouTube has been lately, and the video itself was already age restricted, I didn't see the point in putting a trailer reaction up where I'm going to have to blur a large chunk of the trailer and otherwise risk the video itself getting age restricted. And then, I don't know, it seemed like a whole hassle. But I watched it, and it's gory, it's gruesome, it picks up after the events of the last game, and it's got me very intrigued. But yeah, Homelander, Peacemaker, and Omni-Man, we definitely have a theme here. But I'm not surprised. But I'm curious to see how they match up in the aesthetic, especially like Omni-Man, who, we haven't. What does he look like fully rendered like a real person instead of a comic book page or the animated version. I'm curious to see what he looks like. I haven't seen the pictures, but I did see the leaks. But I'm excited for the other 3 in there. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I've always been a Mortal Kombat guy when it's come to fighters. Let's see. As well as 5 cameo fighters. Okay, interesting. I wonder who those will be. What's up, Christina? How are you doing? Rebecca. Sorry, Robotka. Welcome back. What do you think of Cecile doing the Doctor Strange astral projection move on Nora? Well, it makes sense because it was a mental, what's the word I'm looking for? Possession. If I feel like with her power set where it is right now, it makes sense. I don't like that we're at this point with her in general, but where we are, it's fine. I'm not shocked. It was a nice little easy way out. Just finished making chicken buffalo dip. What's everyone's plans? Well, this. Maybe a nap after. And I don't know. I gotta finish. I work on my How to Train Your Dragon reaction a little bit longer. And then we'll go from there. I don't know. I don't know what else I got planned tonight. Maybe some more Jedi Survivor. I finished the story, but I've still got a bunch of side stuff to do. When you do get to watching Sisu, I 100% guarantee it's reaction worthy. I might do that then. I would imagine so. I mean, the trailer looked crazy. It's baffling that they got Ezra in the Arrowverse but couldn't get Grant in the movie. It's not that they couldn't. The director admitted he chose not to put Grant in the movie. Like, he was an option, but he could only fit so many, and he chose other cameos over Grant. Which, again, I'm still pretty salty about. And I was on the wrong scene, so none of these I've been displaying were showing. It's streaming on Amazon. All right, cool then. I'll have to check that out. Thought it looked cool, but Cecile, in my opinion, never should have had powers. Agreed. A maternal figure would have been better and effective. For some reason, everyone has to get powers, which is funny because Chester had powers and they got the fuck rid of those. But then we had to get Cecile powers. Allegra had to have powers. Allegra is still the most, like, sidelineable character in the whole cast. I don't want to say she's useless, because she's had her moments, but, like, she doesn't need to be there, man. They've done nothing interesting with that character outside of her trying to run CC Media with Iris. Those are the only moments I've liked, was like stuff like that, because I could relate to her being in that management position. That's it. And I think her and Chuck are cute, but like she barely exists. Well, Omni, the comments you're reading aren't showing. Well, they are now, because I saw that and fixed it. Screams in robot. Well, hold on, is it on? Like that. Screams in robots. I don't know if that worked or not. I haven't used it in forever. What's up, Christina's laughing her ass off at the robot noises. Follows MMPR team specifically, yes, but the story pulls from aspects and obscure details from other seasons, so think MMPR dealing with stuff from outside of their season. Oh, that's cool. I'll definitely have to check that out. I like how NetherRealm does themes with Mortal Kombat, and you didn't have to blur the trailer. Just make it black and white, filter over the gore parts like Mortal Kombat YouTubers do. That's the thing, though. The new guidelines, though, it's not about the blood anymore. Like, dismemberment itself, which is one thing I was kind of unsure about, was in Jedi Survivor, they added dismemberment. I was a little concerned about that. Everything seems to be fine there, but I've seen videos get age restricted for less graphic dismemberment. Regardless, so I'm not even gonna bother. I'm not even gonna worry about it. I'm not gonna try. It's not worth the hassle or the thought for me. Just finished Jedi Survivor, and to me, the game storytelling is better than TV sometimes. Fantastic game. Yes, it was. If it wasn't for the performance issues I've run into throughout, the game would be a 10 out of 10. I think even despite its existing flaws, I'd still give it a 9 or a 9.5, I think. I don't know how to play any video games. The last time was Nintendo Mario Tiger Woods Golf. God, that was forever ago. I think are you like the ones on NES? Because that's immediately what I flashed back to, because I did play those on NES. Mortal Kombat X was horror-themed, Alien, Predator, Jason, Leatherface. MK11 was 80s Rambo, Terminator, RoboCop, and MK1 comic book adaptation. Badasses. No, I like that you corrected that. Because harasses is just funny. But I knew what you were trying to say, though. I know what you were trying to say. I'm looking forward to it. I'm very curious to see what this new direction's going to be like, especially considering Liu Kang is a god still. But does that mean this new timeline doesn't have its own Liu Kang? Has he been removed from the timeline altogether? It seems like it. It does seem like it. Honestly, I'm kind of jealous that you finished Jedi Survivor and not God of War yet. I don't mind if it's not a live stream. I'd still watch it. I'll get to it. It's just, again, it's interest. If I play a game I'm not in the mood for, I'm not going to enjoy it, and you're not going to enjoy it. And God of War is one of those games. Star Wars will always take priority over anything that is not Kingdom Hearts or Resident Evil for me. And it just depends on the game too, because Jedi Survivor would definitely have taken priority over Resident Evil 4, I think, in my book. I don't know, yeah, I think it would have. I think it still would have. I'm just glad they didn't come out during the same week, because I would have been blowing my brains out. They took her powers and then gave them back. Why you had your out? Oh, you had your out. Allegra as a side character and would have been great as that, but no, not relevant. Only if they have powers. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, why do we have both? Like, Allegra could have a much more powerful role on the team if they sideline Cecile and put her in a different role than where she is. Like, it's just there's too much crossover here. To be frank, Chester's powers almost destroyed the city. But if you learn to control them, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you could do but with creating black holes that helps the team, but he had powers. What's up, Burger Boy? Hi from West Virginia. Really enjoy your reaction videos. Fellow West Virginian here. I'm glad you enjoy them, man. Thank you so much for stopping in. Personally, I think Zoom and Reverse Flash are going to get the most spotlight after Cobalt Blue. Oh, definitely, more than likely. And I think that's going to come down to the fact that Grant didn't get to film a lot. So any of the Savitar stuff we're going to get is probably going to be him suited. I doubt we will see Grant's Savitar. I doubt we will see him outside of the armor, sadly, due to complications behind the scenes. But I do think the focus is definitely going to be on Zoom and Reverse Flash. Cameo fighters are assist characters, separate roster of characters that you pick to assist you in battle, aka your new take on tag, or Tekken tag, or take on tag, or B2B2. Their version of variation system, an excuse to add an F-ton of characters who otherwise wouldn't have made it in the game. I didn't know they added that feature. I've seen that a lot in like anime games, specifically CyberConnect 2's Ultimate Ninja Storm, where there's a bunch of characters that only exist in the game as like support characters. So I haven't utilized that function ever, so that's interesting. I'm very curious to see who all's on that list. Rolling around laughing. Oh no, it's got a soundboard. I've had a soundboard for a long time. I don't use it. Unless it's to hold to mute. I have a hold to mute button. I have a mute button. It's just like I can't. I don't know when I need it. I can also like, but I just don't do it. I like Eric Wallace's graphic novel structure, but I feel like since season 9 has 13 episodes, it could have been done without it. I agree with that. I feel like we needed to build this stuff. I feel like the Eddie stuff should have been sprinkled out throughout the entire season, not just in this graphic novel. I do feel like the structure is held back this season a little bit. And I feel like we just wait way too long into these graphic novels to get things going. Like, the fact that Eddie is not a physical or powered threat until the actual final episode of that graphic novel is stupid to me. Like, he should have been tearing shit up this episode. I can play Mortal Kombat by simply hitting keys randomly, and it's been working out great. Sometimes you can get away with that. Do you think the do you think Kingdoms 4 will have Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man Tell No Tales, or Pirates of the Caribbean, Stranger Tide? No. No. Because, I mean, unless we explore those worlds as other characters, no. Because Sora is in a completely different realm now. And the worlds we have visited before will not be there. Like, maybe in cutscenes we might visit them, or maybe if we play as other characters who are not on the other side, maybe. But Sora, no. We'll definitely not be visiting the Pirates worlds. I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But, like, the way they've talked about what to expect in 4, I would be shocked. And it also wouldn't make any sense for the Pirates worlds to be an explorable world as Sora in 4. You think each villain's gonna have their moment? I personally hope so, but I can live without Godspeed and Savitar since Grant got COVID during this episode only. See, that's what I thought. Yeah, Godspeed's whatever. I mean, they really dropped the ball on developing him as a character. But, I mean, a speedster's a speedster, so as long as he poses a threat in this moment, I'll be fine with either. I like Savitar, but I do think that the focus is going to be on Zoom and Thawne. I swear I don't mistype on purpose. These keys are too damn small. Get a bigger keyboard. Kidding. CW, you get a superpower, and you get a superpower, you get a superpower, you all get a superpower! It sounds like that. It seems like that sometimes, man. I feel conflicted about Savitar teaming up with Zoom and Thawne since Savitar is literally Barry Allen, and they murdered his parents. Yeah, when you put it like that, it does not make all that much sense. Like, he hates Barry. He hates the Flash in that way. But it's from a place that Barry would kind of find his way to. It still would feel weird, I think, logistically, for him to team up with them. He would be somebody I feel like would be his own entity. Unless there's a good reason. Maybe they'll probably just hand wave it and not even think about it. Or maybe because Eddie is joining the negative speed force, maybe it imposes something of its own will over them, which brings them onto their side. So they could do that as well. But yeah, if he's given his own stance and his own ability to think, Savitar, I don't think would play well with all them. He definitely wouldn't team up with Barry. Maybe he would, but temporarily. But I don't see him joining Zoom or Thawne, unless coerced in some manner. To add to Mortal Kombat, how do you feel about Joel McHale being rumored as at the moment to portray Johnny Cage in the MK21 sequel? I've not heard that rumor at all. I thought it was confirmed that Carl Urban is playing Johnny Cage in the sequel to the movie. Yeah, I've not heard Joel McHale come up at all for the film sequel. The only name I've seen come up in association with Johnny Cage as of late for the film is Carl Urban. New to Mortal Kombat looks dope. It does. I would like to see some gameplay, but the trailer was really great. It was really great. Will you ever consider trying Doom Eternal? I'd like to hear your thoughts. Cheers. I have it. I just haven't played it. I played the Doom reboot, and had a blast with that. And like, then I got Doom Eternal, but then I just got sidetracked and I never actually played it. So I have it, but I just need to play it eventually. Was the reason the Legends stopped joining the crossovers because they didn't want to lose a member after losing Martin? I remember Sarah said she promised the Legends she won't make them join the crossovers. I don't remember any of that. I don't remember there ever being an actual reason given that wasn't budget or scheduling. I don't think there's an actual in-world reason. I think the last reason we got, one of the reasons was they weren't invited, or they were and they didn't want to join, or some bullshit. I don't know. I don't remember there being a clear-cut like directive as to why they were staying out of things. I mean the casting for Mortal Kombat. Oh, right, yes. Fair enough. Even though I got spoiled and everything in the Guardians movie, I still enjoyed the movie. Are spoilers allowed? They are. They are allowed. You know Chester snuck some Begone powered juice left over from the Cisco days. They just cut the scene. Yeah, I mean, probably. I know they like had to put in that machine to stabilize him, but they never really said whether or not that extinguished his ability rather than contained it. I don't know. I don't remember them actually saying anything specific about that. Over under 100% Homelander's fatality will be how he kills Stillwell with the laser eyes in his skull that screams fatality. And they could just use Superman's Injustice 2 moves. That would be a good one. Dude, I wonder what they would go with for Omni-Man, though, because he's had some pretty brutal executions. Peacemaker, I imagine he's just going to shoot somebody. You think Eagly will be a part of his moveset, though? That sounded like me getting out of the bed in the AM. Oh, dude. Yes, the graphic novel idea didn't work this season at all. Agreed. Sometimes. That's a challenge. That's a challenge indeed. You think Jedi Survivor will get the ball rolling on more visual High Republic content? Personally, I'd love to see it because I'm not a book reader. I would like that. I'm like you. I'm more of a visual person, which is one of the reasons it's so difficult. It's very hard for me to get through books because I like seeing things. And usually a lot of the time I won't read something until I've seen an adaptation, so I don't have to worry about thinking about what the characters are like. I don't know. I always work adaptation then book rather than book then adaptation. There's been a few times where it's been the other way around, but it's usually been in something where I'm already familiar with that world. So yeah, I would prefer that. I've only read one of the High Republic books, and it's the first one that came out, Light of the Jedi. I actually posted a book review of it on the channel. But I would like to see some more visual stuff from it, so I hope we get more of that as well. What's so wrong with bringing back Matt for Reverse Flash in Season 7's finale? They revived him, but with Wells' face. Come on! It was the final episode of Season 7. And 9 too. I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I should have mentioned this earlier, but to answer your question regarding Eddie's GSW Magical appearing, please. I don't know what GSW means, man. Just off of the top of my head. I think they wrote it as he got his memories back. Pieces of his wounds return. Oh, it's gunshot wound. I guess, maybe? Or maybe it was another illusion to help him present his case. As we've seen that a lot of illusions are happening around him, so I don't know. It's a good idea, though, a good theory. I watched Ben Affleck's Air today, one of the best movies of 2023. Have you seen it? No, I really wanted to, but I hadn't had time. So it's one of those movies I really wanted to check out, but I haven't had a chance. Do you think that Oliver resurrected Harry and Jesse from their Earth? Their Earth doesn't exist anymore. Or did he not resurrect them in The Flash? I do not think he resurrected them. I don't. Their Earth was recreated into the Stargirl Earth. So they're gone. Their Earth is not the same Earth they left. So I have to imagine they're just straight up gone. Okay, mister, I'm taking a nap. FYI, Street Fighter Open Beta is live now. Would you play or stream it? Probably not. I've never really been a Street Fighter guy. I don't know. I like the story of it in a way, but I've never liked the gameplay all that much. Savitar can be handled with Iris and a gun. I don't know. We saw how that backfired. I don't know. Maybe. Are you excited for Secret Invasion? Hell yeah. I wish the show would be longer than 6 episodes. Again, I've said this before. If you get more episodes, you get less quality on your CGI. So it's a trade-off with these Disney shows. You get more episodes, the quality will suffer. Budgetarily. Though it does seem like it'd be a potentially low budget show, but then again with all the Skrulls, yeah, I don't know. Is The Boys Season 4 coming out this year, or is it only the spinoff Gen V coming out this year? I think it's only Gen V. I don't think Season 4 is coming out this year yet. As long as Godspeed does less monologue and more fighting, I'm happy. Also, having Godspeed and Savitar, who is self-proclaimed God of Speed, I hope they throw a fun joke about that. Oh, that's a good point. I hope they do. Otherwise, that's a nice little missed opportunity right there. Hard to believe Savitar was shunned. I mean, he is Barry, who traveled 1 second to the past. He didn't deserve to be shunned. I know, it didn't make any sense, but I liked it anyway, in just thematically. I kind of like that whole twist and turn, even if I don't believe Team Flash or any of the family members would actually do that. But it's a timeline that doesn't exist anymore, so whatever. Do you think all the villains will be retconned to be connected in the Negative Speed Force since his suits are red? I think they will be brought back by the Negative Speed Force. So in turn, I think they will all end up powered or have their powers restored by the Speed Force, the Negative Speed Force. So I think that's probably what's happening. I don't think it's going to be a retcon. I think they're just going to be new pilots for the Negative Speed Force at the control and behest of Eddie. Another set of parts here. Appreciate how they had the St. Charles post at the end of the movie that made it feel happy, since where Peter Quill is from, and so am I. Also been to where the Dairy Queen is in Guardians 2, so that's cool to see places where you're from and movies you really enjoy. I do like that. I think it's something I've been wondering for a long time about Peter's character, and I'm glad they finally addressed it, and you know, he's facing that part of him that he left behind. I like that. I like that as well. Let's see, Omni, where do you reside, and what's the best thing about living there? Well, I live in West Virginia, and I would say the best thing about living here is I would have to say is while the traffic still irritates me, is the traffic is not as bad as it could possibly be anywhere else, because I don't live in a heavily populated area. I mean, our biggest city has like 20-30,000 people. The town I grew up in had 900 verging on 1,000 people, and that's it. Like my high school had more students than my town had people, so like that's fine with me. But yeah, I mean, I'd say traffic and you know, it's mostly quiet outside of random neighbors here and there, but like, you know, I don't know what to say. Roads suck. There's not a lot of stuff around as far as like bigger like variations in stores. It's like a lot of the same major chains or whatever. You know, Walmart, our mall is basically dead at this point. But yeah, gotta drive at least 20 to 30 minutes to get to anything of use in most cases. Now I'm just spouting off bad stuff. But yeah, I'll also say the scenery, because it is beautiful here, especially in the summer, like with the hills, the mountains, the long expanses of forests and stuff, and the parks. The parks are beautiful. Parks are beautiful. I just don't really go out and take that in too much, except like a couple times here recently to clear my head and stuff. So I'd do that. Like, low population, I think in itself is both a negative and a plus, but I see it as a plus because I don't like dealing with just crowds. And the accessibility of nature. In Crisis Part 2, Sarah said the Legends didn't want to join. Right, but that's not like a directive, or that's not what we were talking about. I don't think that fits in with what we were talking about. Let's see. Part 1, I feel like none of them would work well as a team. Godspeed, Zoom both want to be the fastest speedster alive, so their egos would prevent them from teaming up with others. And Thawne also stabbed Godspeed through the stomach with a lightning saber. Thawne refuses to let anyone else hurt Barry except him, and Savitar has his reasons, I said. Yeah, it's a whole mixed bag, so unless there's some like negative Speed Force shenanigans happening, I'm very curious to see what the reasons are for this. I'm surprised the entire bar didn't hear Oliver's Spectre voice. The bar was empty, I thought. I don't remember seeing anybody else in the bar when they were there. But yeah, if there were, yeah. Am I the only one that hates the Karl Urban casting? I'm not in love with it. I like Karl Urban, but as Johnny Cage, I just have to see it in practice, man. I just have to see what they do. I was very disappointed in the 2021 film. Man, I like wholeheartedly disappointed in most of that movie. Like, the only things I liked were Scorpion and Sub-Zero. And even those were done poorly, in my book. Oh well, Joel McHale was rumored, and I just saw the Karl Urban casting. Either way, I feel either or both could do great. Joel McHale, maybe. He's hit or miss. He could definitely, maybe, I don't know. He might fit in with some things that we've had previously in this whole film saga, but we'll see. We'll see. He looks more the role, and he acts more the role. I don't know. Karl Urban has a little bit of a cocky shit attitude to him. At times, he can play that real well. I don't know. I think either or could be a fine case, but I'm still, my expectations are in the negatives for a sequel to the 2021 film. Should everyone in Bar be surprised to see Oliver? He's very well known for his sacrifice. I have to rewatch that scene because I don't remember anyone being in the bar with them. I keep forgetting Godspeed is a thing. We all know his arc, and his and Cecile having a secret affair with Joe. While Joe was off with Kramer working, Jenna was a built-in origin evil villain story. What the fuck? What the hell? Goddamn. Let's see. Have I seen the Mission Impossible movies on this channel? On the channel? No, I haven't. I've like reacted to a trailer here and there, but I've only seen 1 through 3. But I've been thinking about with the new one coming out, reacting to the ones that I've missed. My question about Oliver is he actually dead, or is he a godly entity? I think he's somewhere in the middle, because his spirit became the Spectre. And his body was resurrected, but we never actually saw his soul return to his body. Because remember, his body was resurrected by the Lazarus Pit, but his soul wasn't there. So it turned into just this raging monster. And that plotline got dropped completely. That was never resolved. So I'm going to lean on dead and godly entity. The only Fast and Furious movie that I've ever seen is Hobbs and Shaw. It was pretty good. It's really fun. But I think that's because everybody in that's just charismatic as hell. Especially Idris Elba. He's great. But as a genetically and scientifically enhanced human, be a super soldier in that film was a little weird. But that's par for the course with where the franchise is now, I guess. I needed Wells to come in as Harry, or OG Wells, not Thawne, and it's likely homage how they first were introduced. The character nostalgia can be a double-edged sword. That's true. That's true. I do hope that we get a actual Wells appearance in the episode, but we'll see. I wonder why Oliver used the Spectre voice when he tells Barry that the lightning chose him. I think it's to put emphasis, like a godly emphasis on that point, so that Barry knows that he was chosen for this for a reason. And I think the emphasis that the lightning chose him takes a lot of that responsibility off of Barry's soul about whether or not he's worthy. So that's how I read it. The biggest wasted opportunity of the Flash was easily having Matt and Tom's Reverse Flash simultaneously messing with Barry and then meeting, and that would have been awesome. That would have been really fucking cool. I would have liked to have seen that. I'm right there with you on that one. What are your summer season plans? Going to any kind of vacation? I don't have anything like particularly planned other than me and my friends have a yearly little retreat. We go to this B&B. It's this like old rustic kind of Victorian house that we rent out for a couple of days, and we basically just play D&D essentially, our own little homebrewed kind of Digimon campaign that my buddy's built out and made his own rule set for. That's kind of built off of D&D rules. We've been doing that like every year for the last 2-3 years now. So I got that in June, but other than that, nothing else. What's up, Juan? Love you, man. Can't believe the Flash season finale is on my birthday. What the birthday present that is, man. Oh, wow. That's crazy. Weird question, but since Earth 2 no longer exists, also, happy early birthday. No longer exists, does that mean Zoom and Laurel were from Earth Prime? So does that mean for Earth 1 Laurel, where was Earth 2? Earth 2 did exist, so those characters in the timeline did at one point exist, but they no longer exist in the timeline. So there was a point in time where Earth 2 was still around, and a point in time... God, this is where it just gets confusing, because the timeline got rewritten too. Honestly, I have no fucking clue, I guess, now that I'm thinking about it. I don't know. I have no idea. You bring a good question into perspective here, because Earth 2 Laurel does still exist. Earth 1 Laurel died still. And Earth 2 Laurel is still somewhere on Earth Prime, though her Earth no longer exists. I don't know, Andor had its 12 episodes and the quality was amazing. It just depends. Lucasfilm is a different beast than the studios that work on like the Marvel projects. Everything done with Lucasfilm is done in-house. There's no outsourcing. I mean, there might be some, but they handle pretty much all of their stuff. And I think the Lucasfilm stuff always looks so much better than anything we get out of the Marvel stuff. And I think it's for that reason. And Andor isn't something you necessarily need a huge budget for, especially for a team like Lucasfilm. So I don't know. Again, it varies from project to project. But in most cases, and this is from Feige himself, his own mouth, that the 6th episode is to accommodate the budget that goes into the films, in the shows. Because they have a set budget that they use to compare it to. They basically use the budget they would apply to a film and apply it to however many episodes they can get out of that budget. From what they've said, they kind of like a fixed range. Like with WandaVision, it's the same runtime. Like it's still the same 6 episode structure, but they shortened those episodes and extended it to 9. That's why some were 20 minutes, some were 30, and so on. Like they were shorter, very small chunk episodes compared to the other Marvel shows, and they got more episodes out of it. But the budget was pretty much the same. Like if you go through, there's only like a maybe 40 to 50,000 discrepancy between the lowest show and the highest budget show from the MCU stuff. As far as Lucasfilm stuff goes, I have no idea how the budgeting works. I imagine it's probably very different because they're two very separate studios. But when I'm talking about that, I'm talking specifically for the Marvel side of things. What did you think about Adam Warlock in Guardian Volume 3? Was the only negative for me. I liked him enough, but yeah, I don't know how I would feel about the movie if he just wasn't in it. But I liked the moments where he showed up. It was just a little underwhelming, and at times felt like he was part of a different movie. But it wasn't a big enough negative to hurt my enjoyment of the movie at all. And he got some laughs out of me. I thought he was fun, but yeah, he just kind of took away from the focus every now and then. I like shorter seasons of shows, and maybe it's a sign of age, but I'm not too keen on 15 episodes of anything. That's months of my life, and my attention is sporadic. That's kind of how I am anymore. Like, I don't know if I can, like, stomach, like, 20-some episode seasons of anything anymore. Especially with the amount of stuff there is to watch these days. I'm personally happy that Stargirl Earth is Earth 2, since pre-crisis Earth 2 was Earth 3 from the comic books. That's true. That's fair. How would you get there is by using Doctor Strange or America Chavez portals. Flash's time travel powers, people could have their own houses too. What the hell was this? Oh, I just completely skipped your question, Stixie. Imagine if Marvel and DC made a game where you could be every superhero in the MCU or DCU, or maybe DCU, and you could actually go to space. The map would be huge and different too. Like an open world game, and you can have arena fights. That would be a massive undertaking. I mean, hell, we had the DC Online game. That's still active, but yeah. Fight Thanos, stop him from getting the Infinity Stone, Zons for wiping out Metropolis. I mean, could happen. Go into space, Quinjet, fly like Superman, Iron Man, street hero villain. I mean, it sounds like the DC game that they made, but just with Marvel as well. I don't know. I probably wouldn't play or get into a game like that though, personally. But that's me. Kind of symbolic that the Flash's final villain is Eddie Thawne, the ancestor of Eobard, his arch nemesis, and his own rival from season 1 as well. You know, Iris's first love before she realized she loved Barry. What did Oliver mean when he said to Diggle on 9/6 that he and Felicity's destinies have already been written? They can't be together anymore? Well, I think you mean 9/9, but he's just saying that path has already ran its course. Like, we know where their stories go. We know that Felicity ends up with Oliver. We know where those trajectories are going. So that's all it means. I mean, we know that Oliver ends up with Felicity in the end anyway. But at this point in time, Felicity is still taking care of Mia and doing her thing. It's not until Mia goes on her own that Felicity is free to join with Oliver, because then the Monitor will come in and take her to him. So, you know, it's not that time yet. We haven't reached that point in the timeline. So, like, he can't mess with things as they are or as they will need to be, is what I understood that as. West Virginia is quieter than most places, to be honest. That is very, very true. Summer, considering Andor, but I haven't been impressed much by Star Wars recently. It eclipses. I mean, I still like The Mandalorian more, but if we're talking like quality streaming content, I do think objectively, like, Andor is on another level. Like, it's like HBO like levels of quality, from the writing to the effects to the themes and how mature it is. It's nothing like the other shows. Like, I said this is Star Wars for adults, really, and like a lot without pushing it too far, but it is the one of the more grounded and real Star Wars shows we've ever had, while still having all the familiar elements to it. But it's you cannot judge Andor based on other Star Wars shows, because there is not another Star Wars show that is like it. The closest thing thematically and tonally similar to it would be Rogue One, but it's a whole other beast, man. I've been to WV many times. We should hang out someday when I visit again, man. I mean, maybe a meetup or something sometime could be cool for like a group thing, like at a con or something. That could be something doable one day. When I went to work and my boss told me that I had a vacation holiday, which I made a mistake, so I had to stay home. I don't know if that's a pleasant surprise or an oopsie that I just wasted a PTO day and I didn't realize it. I don't know how I'd feel about that. All right, that was the last one. Gotta go now. Take it easy, 6E. How's the tone of that show compared to the others? Well, I think I just kind of went on a little rant about that, actually. So I'll go stick with that. I watched Mission Impossible 1 for the very first time yesterday, preparing for MI7 coming this July. Yup. Listen, man, I am the classic Mortal Kombat fanboy who would bash on Street Fighter, even though I never played it and played all the Mortal Kombats, and the SF6 beta is really fun. It's a good placeholder until the new Mortal Kombat drops. I mean, I might check it out. I mean, I don't know. Mortal Kombat's literally like the only, and it's only the story, really, that I care about for Mortal Kombat at this point. I got other games to play, but if I have a gap and it's going on, maybe I'll check it out, but I'll probably never buy it. Let's see. Also followed you on Instagram. Awesome, thank you. If you haven't, anybody, follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I just saw, and TikTok, and just saw a fan campaign for Austin Butler to play Gambit in the MCU's future. As interesting as this could be, what do you think? From Elvis to X-Men seems like quite the leap. I don't know. I mean, maybe I could. He's a good and great actor. I can kind of picture it. I'm just trying to think about the performance. I don't know. I think he could pull it off. He's got the look. He's got the chops. So it all comes down to execution, I guess. And there's the finale. Felicity went to Oliver's side in Starling City, but here he's in purgatory. Was that ending deleted timeline? That ending is in the future. That ending is not where we are in the present day. I mean, so it's also the finale for season 7 before Crisis. What we saw there was after Crisis. Iris reminded me that there are previous versions of Crisis where Nora comes from. Barry did die. No. The original Nora, yes. Pre-Crisis Nora, yes. Current Nora, no. Barry's alive. He's alive in 2049. Like, we saw that in this episode, this last week's episode. Barry's alive. He's just on the watchtower. So, people were getting pretty confused with the whole pre-Crisis, post-Crisis stuff. Solarpunk is an anti-dystopian, anti-capitalist, anti-defeatist. It's a new genre. Oh, you're calling it Solarpunk, I guess, but it could be interesting, I think. Or is that? I think it's so a corporate machine. Hope springs eternal. I mean, I don't know what we're talking about, Summer. I don't know. Is that a description of Andor? Totally made that up. That's what I saw happening that season. That's how I engaged. I was with it. That's what I saw happening that season, because that's how I engaged. I was with it. So I imagine Joe and Silver having affairs to alleviate the dullness. God damn. I have to create my own fun in my show. I wonder if the finale is going to do different versions of the 2024 Crisis where Barry initially vanishes in a fight with a Reverse Flash with a few changes since Eric Wallace says he wanted to do it. Well, I mean, I know he said it's going to have an upbeat ending, at least. So I don't think it's going to end with Barry disappearing. And it happened in Crisis. Crisis happened, that's gone. I think everybody needs to get rid of the Crisis stuff. Crisis is done and over. The headline is done and over. but we'll see. I mean, we'll see. Do you think a Star Wars game set in Andor series with Vel as the lead, doing a lot of stealth missions and possible infiltration, stealing, and sabotage could do well? Would it do well? Probably not, just knowing the general Star Wars fandom. Would it be fun? Would it be cool? Would it be different? Would it be interesting? Sure, I would totally be interested in that. But she seems to have a conscience, so I don't know if setting Vel as the primary character would be the best thing. I think watching Andor lose his humanity and then maybe seeing some of the missions he does between seasons or between these 3 episode yearly pods, we could do something like that. Fun fact, Carl Urban auditioned for Kano in the first movie, but he couldn't due to scheduling from the boys, so the next best choice is Johnny Cage for him. Plus, look at the bigger picture. That is true. That is true. That'd be interesting. He would have been a great Kano. But I like who they got for Kano, though. What are your final predictions for episode 13? Just a shitstorm of speed. Okay, so apparently the stream died. And I had the chat up, so I didn't see it. I'm on. Yes. It's back. Yes. What was the last thing that came up? Are we here? Okay, let's try this again. We had like 30 seconds of it being stable there for a minute. What was the last thing you guys heard me talking about? Finale. Was it this? Oh, okay. Damn, okay. Well, I was just going off on a tangent then, I guess. That's fine. I mean, that's all I got for that. And then we had, of course, well, not of course. God damn it. Yeah, I kept going for a minute. Homelander is a DLC for MK1. When the last movies came out, they had Cary Hitagawa, or however you spell it. It was Shang Tsung skin. Have Johnny Cage, Carl Urban skin, and you can fight the DLC Homelander. All right, guys. I'm not sure what to do at this point. I'm going to try restarting my router, and I'll see what happens if it's any more stable at all, because it's cutting out every couple seconds at this point. So I'll try that. I'll try to come right back. If it works, great. If it doesn't, we may just have a short stream this week, unfortunately, where I don't get to anybody else at this point. So let me check that, try that. I think we might be. We'll see what happens. I restarted everything. Alright. He looks contemplative now. I feel like I probably look pissed the fuck off, like I am. Well, shit. So, a lot of the messages are gone because the chat refreshed. So, some of the questions that I was going to answer are just gone. So there's a lot. If you have anything that got missed, you might have to repost it. So I only have from 522 onward at this point. But one thing I do remember was obviously the talking about the Homelander's, DLC, him in NK1, and then, they've had actor skins before, so maybe the Johnny Cage skin could have a Carl Urban skin for them to fight Homelander. And then I think somebody had mentioned that in season 3, they remember hearing a theory that the show would end with Flash becoming the lightning bolt that gave him his powers in the first place and being the Speed Force that created him. And yes, that is a thing from the comics. It's not really a theory, I don't think. I guess you can say it's speculation that it could be something that they might do. I've brought it up a bunch over the course of the show. But it's a thing from the comics. It's a thing that happens in the comics. But they've said, at least, and confirmed that they are not doing that ending. And honestly, even though I've been like, I would like that ending, now that I know that the Arrowverse is over and the show will be the last one, I don't want that to be the ending personally, because that's just too much of a dour note to end on for the entire universe. So, alright, we're picking back up with what I have. So we'll go from there, because that was the last thing I remember. It's weird they never show Barry in the future. He's always away somewhere, and in this episode, he was in outer space fighting Darkseid, in my headcanon anyway. Yeah, he was up in space, doing something on the Watchtower. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I assume it's to keep him out of the picture, so present day, and they don't have to put any makeup on, and future Barry should be probably pretty overpowered, so you gotta take him out of the picture. So I get that. Omni equals GOAT. Well, I don't think so, but that would be cool. Juan said no con. Let's get personal. Oh my god. Jesus. Yeah. Like one-on-ones, yeah, that's definitely not happening. That's for sure. Unless it just magically happens somehow, like I run into somebody on the street or whatever. Let's see. Are you excited for Loki Season 2 due to Jonathan Majors not being in Loki? Is that confirmed? Is it confirmed he's not in Loki? I mean, I'm excited for Loki regardless, so I'm looking forward to it. I apologize, I've warped sense of humor and it doesn't have a filter or a pause button. Doesn't also help that you're also usually like 99% of the time high. But no, I get you. I have a very wacky sense of humor as well, so hopefully nobody's offended. So in both timelines, the Arrow Season 7 flash forwards and the Season 8 finale, Felicity will still be taken by Marnavu to Oliver. Yes, is that the flash forward timeline is a different one from Earth Prime's future. Oliver created it regardless, so that future is the one that we saw in the Mia episode of Arrow, which still had Felicity leaving. So yes. Never apologize, Christina. What's up? What's up, Sean? Sorry, I'm in 3 conversations, downside of multiple roommates and friends having time for once. I got twisted. Andor does have a lot of anti-fascist, anti-capitalist language, almost solar pop. Fair enough. I'm a little late, was rewatching Guardians 3 in the theater. I almost cried again. Understandable. Thanks, I don't feel like that much of a weirdo. Alright, there's a bunch of like, did stream die? Is stream dead? Did stream me dead? Did we lose connection? Dead stream? Stream dead, blah blah blah, crazy, internet gone, bye 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 bye. Let's see, where did I come back? Shakes fists at weather. Oh man. I wanted to hear more about Jedi Survivor. He did a great job. I mean, I'm still here for now. This gives me a chance to not be behind at least. Level Guardians 3 said the post-credits scene, Legendary Star Wars will return. And I was like, okay, what did that mean? Exactly what it said. Fingers crossed. Just watched Guardians 3. I wonder if there's another Star-Lord. I mean, I don't think that's the implication at all. I don't know that I've heard nobody suggest that there's another Star-Lord. Like, I think that's, I mean, I think that only implies that it's Peter that's coming back. I mean, by all extents, what am I talking about? What was I even saying for a second? Like, the implication is that he came up with the name, so like I think it was just their way of saying him, because it's not like the Guardians will return because he's not a member of the Guardians anymore. So Star-Lord, that's my implication, because usually the will return is somebody we just saw. So that's my guess. My stream keeps getting replayed. Omni saying I'll be right back. He never survives a Scream movie. How dare you? Let's see. It's busy for me. Hope you have a great day. It's been great until the internet started being a little bitch. Answers were yes, maybe. I didn't see it. Yes, yes. How do you ask that? I don't remember that. Just a little fun fact, if you didn't know, Bode took Dagon's saber after you defeated him. It was not his saber. I mentioned that in the episode that went out today. Who is Michael? Me. And that ending would be terrible. If Sarah clone thing in Legends had to happen, what would you have done differently to be satisfying in a way that you were not left salty about it? If, like, her brain went out of the dead one and into the new one, or if there was an explicit statement that her consciousness, her soul, was transferred, since we know those exist in this universe and they're separate, yes. Otherwise, original OG Sarah is in hell, and or heaven, and or who knows. Let's see. Goat. My biggest complaint with the Red Death arc is that they had no consequences at all. Could have removed it and lost nothing. I agree. I really did not like that element of it. At the end of the day, it meant nothing. I like the fact this show is addressing the fact that Eddie's sacrifice ultimately didn't matter in the long run, since fans have been saying that for the longest time. And that's his villain arc, is that it didn't matter. Arrow Season 7, Season 8 finales take place in different timelines, right? Again, Arrow, like, Oliver, kept his timeline the same. Remember, things are the same, things are different. His timeline was unabated. The things that happen still happen in his timeline. Even if a timeline has been changed around it, he kept that a constant because that was the deal he made. That had to happen. So think of it like a fixed point. Those elements had to take place. So regardless of it taking place pre or post crisis, those elements still resulted in Felicity leaving to go with the Monitor to him. We saw that. That was in Arrow Season 8. We saw that. I thought that was someone I missed. What do you think of the trolls like at Comic-Con? I'm not sure what you mean. Facts. I heard that Loki Season 2 will clarify what Marvel plans to do with Jonathan Majors going forwards. I don't know what that means, but he's still in the show. I mean, I feel they'll have to clarify that before the show comes out, I feel like. Thank you for the super chat. More Sleepy 4K. Let's see. Is there anything you want to see in Shazam 3? God, I hope we get a Shazam 3. Those movies, I don't know why people just did not go see those films, man. But what I would want to see would be, honestly, him fighting fucking Black Adam. And I know with the whole Rock situation and the Rock's ego and everything like that, like, it would be a problematic as all hell and probably not happen, but I don't know. That's what I've been wanting up until this point, and I would still want to see that. Otherwise, I don't. Just give us Mark Strong and the Caterpillar back, Mr. Mind, and why can't I think of his name right now? Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Just finally get them out of prison and have us fight them if you can't do the Black Adam shit. The fact that we never had Black Adam and Shazam face off by this point is stupid to me. But I still love those movies. I still think they made them work, and they did a really good job. Savannah, I think they really did a good job with those, despite the interference from The Rock and the studio and stuff like that. Not the most. Got kicked out of an anime Discord for nothing. And I was muted and deafened, and they still kicked me. I mean, usually when that happens, there's a reason. So, don't know. I don't know. I can't speak for that. I'm not in that. That means nothing to me. Have you seen any of the episodes of The Office? I've seen like parts of episodes, but I've never seen like a full episode of The Office. Would Marvel do a Guardians 4 without James? Probably. Or is it okay for people to prefer James direct the OG Guardians, and it's okay for a new director to handle the new Guardians? Well, James is done. So like if they do touch on these characters, they will either be in just popping up in other films, or we'll get a Guardians 4 with another director, which is why James purposefully, and is said in interviews, why he ended it the way he did. Let's see. I hope they just bring back Star-Lord to have Disney Plus shorts where he just continues to eat cereal with no real substance. That would be hilarious. Breakfast of the day with Star-Lord, and he reviews the differences in the cereal he grew up with and the cereal of today. And more sleep. I get to things when I get to things. So you just have to be patient. We've been having a shit ton of internet issues in the last few minutes, so relax. I do appreciate the super chat though, but chill. Let's see. Who's your favorite character in The Office? Well, I would have to have watched The Office. I was just about to watch it. Jeez. What was that about? I already forgot. I'm just getting swept up in everything. I remember a message. Where did that come up? Oh, today's episode of the finale, at least of the story for Jedi Survivor. I just heard why Groot's last words were different. It's because the theme of empathy finally hit us like it did with Gamora, and we understand him, which makes me very curious if in the next film he appears in, will he just be Vin Diesel speaking English? I think we're back. Confirm back. Hi, Angie. Okay, I guess that's confirmation. What do you think a character... Oh, am I even in the right place right here? Yeah, I am, I think. Yes. What do you think of characters who face no consequences for their actions, and or the people around them do face consequences and sometimes face more punishment? I find them boring. I need an example. All right, Oliver can make some events still happen, because he still has to ensure that he is set on his path, so he can't change the things that pivotally put him on the course that he was on. That's why he didn't bring his dad back. That's just angry media is back. So yeah, he had to keep certain events in his timeline the same, while changing the things that he could change that wouldn't prevent the outcome. Then again, he could just literally force events to happen because he is a god now. And thank you, Christina, for the super chat. Hair, stay classy. Michael, have a good weekend and sweet dreams. Everyone else, have a wonderful week for your internet woes. Well, thank you. I like that you've specifically addressed my hair as if it was another entity. I hope you have fun with your dip, your trip, and your documentary. Whatever one you choose on. Good content, sire. Why, thank you. Shazam was jokes goated. I think it definitely was good. I thought they had some pretty damn good jokes. General opinion of Crisis was it was underwhelming and didn't live up to the hype. What do you think? I mean, I think some people, again, got their expectations higher than what CW could ever deliver. While I love what they've done, maybe Ultra, his edit maybe didn't help, as cool and badass as it was. But for Crisis, for what it was, I thought it was fun. I thought it lived up to my expectations of it. I didn't really find it disappointing, only in that I really wish somebody from another universe was a Paragon. And somebody was, until Lex fucked it up. And that annoyed me to no end. I was really hoping that the Christopher Reeve Superman would still be a Paragon. I think it's I think my biggest complaint with the series, with that special, that crossover event, was the audacity that all of the Paragons are in the Arrowverse. Or yeah, so like that's my only critique or problem with it. I thought it was fine. I enjoyed it. I don't like it as much as Crisis on Earth X, but I still thought it was really well put together for what they had. Love Quantumania's post-credit scene. It's him! I love the connectivity. Shazam, traveling in an RV across country and teaming up with ISIS every once in a while. That could be interesting. I know it would have been hard to pull off, but it would probably never happen now. But if the Arrowverse did a Dark Side crossover events, holy balls, that would be amazing. That would be... Yeah, I definitely would... I don't think they ever would have dabbled in that, but that would have been kind of crazy. And I'm very curious if their version of Dark Side would at least be better than Smallville's. Let's see. I wish we have gotten to a proper Justice League in the Arrowverse, even if they just said the League. Or just the Super Friends, because that's at least what they've dubbed themselves. That name has at least got thrown around once or twice since then. But I think because of the Justice League thing right now, they're probably not allowed to call themselves that. I would have been fine either way, though. I'm fine with it. I really hope Kata becomes Cal's Padawan. Would be cool if there was another 5 or 10 year time jump. Dude, if we do a 10-year time jump, Luke and everybody will be running around. That could be interesting. My question, though, my biggest concern about the way the game ends is the way the game ends is very, like, earth-shattering to the canon of the time period. So something has to happen between the end of this game and whatever we pick up with the next that completely decimates where we left the characters at the end of this. Because the ending of that game raises way too many what ifs and questions and concerns that I have. I love it, but like it's a big old problematic open web that I'm trying not to spoil it, but just for anybody else, but like, goddamn, does that change things? I like the theory that Groot speaks and we just understand him now, though. It's not a theory, it's confirmed, by the way. James, that was a theory posited by an article, and James confirmed because he replied to that article that posited that theory that, yes, that was the intent. So I think we can call, that can evolve beyond being called a theory at this point. Angry Media is back. Thanks for clearing up my questions anytime. I expected Reverse Flash to be in Crisis. That was my disappointment. He was originally supposed to be, and I think he got cut for scheduling and budget. And yes, that. I will add that also, because I forgot about that. I would also agree that is a disappointment that Reverse Flash never appeared in Crisis. If they did Crisis now, Cecile would be all of the Paragons. You're not fucking wrong, man. But I will say, at least thankfully, Crisis, because every showrunner is involved. Every show's individual team handles their individual episodes. So at least the other shows would have been able to tell Eric Wallace to shut the fuck up with that. Just like the other shows told Supergirl to shut the fuck up with how they handled Superman until they got him back and then they started peeing all over him again. But anyway. I wish we could have gotten a more diverse team to fight the Anti-Martyr than just Reeves Superman. We could have gotten a Batman, a GL in there though too. Again, you got to consider budgets, and they already had Brandon Routh pretty much on payroll, and he was Christopher Reeve's Superman. So it is what I mean. You gotta think about it where they're at. I wish we could have. Sure, that would have been awesome, but realistically, probably wasn't going to happen. And you would never get a Batman, and you would never get a Green Lantern on the small screen on anything outside of like a proper DC studio production. They're not allowed to use Green Lantern, and they are not allowed to use Batman. So that is what it is. And Diane, thank you so much for that super chat. Thanks for all the Jedi Survivor. It was fun seeing your reaction to the reveals. You are the boss of the Ogdo. Ogdos fear me. As they should. But no, that was dude, there's some great twists and turns in that game, man. There's some great little things to go through. I'm gonna do like a run, like a sprint to platinum, because I do want to get my platinum trophy on the game. But yeah, it's been fun. Despite the bugs, like I've said, I really enjoyed the game. I'd give it a, like, even with the bugs, it's at minimum a 9 for me, at best a 9.5. And if they fix all these problems with it, which honestly, after the patch on the PS5, aside from the ghosting that's happening now, it's running pretty damn good. And I've been having a little bit of a better experience on the PC, but I'm building a whole new PC, so we'll see if that helps too. So, game's been great. If you clear up all the performance issues, I would slap it with a good old 10 out of 10, without hesitation. But I'm glad you enjoyed, Diane. I saw you over on the preview channel as Adam was struggling real hard with that same one that I was getting really mad at, that challenge. That I didn't want to like distract or anything like that. But I was like, it makes me feel good that I wasn't the only one getting really fed up with that. But I will say, I did finish it. I've completed all the challenges so far. Where did I leave off before I went to that? Here we go. Here's a theory for Avengers and Kang's Dynasty. You know how Kangs can jump through timelines. What if they bring back Iron Man for some reason? And Thanos, if it doesn't happen, I hope it crossed minds. Maybe it cut off. I'm not sure if the sentence got cut off there, but I think I know what you're getting at. I think that could be really interesting. I just don't know if Robert Downey would come back, and if we did get Tony back in some form, would anybody be okay with a recast? I don't think I would, but you're right. It opens the possibilities to anything, especially with the access to alternate timelines, not just our timeline. So there's a lot of fun things you can do with that, which I'm sure they're going to explore in some form or fashion once we get into all of that. Omni, I'm off. See you next week to discuss this Flash series finale. God, I don't wanna. I mean, I do. I will. But like, it's just, I'm sad that it's ending. Would you consider watching the Beverly Hills Cop trilogy? I would definitely consider it. It's a series of films I've always been curious about checking out eventually. It's just finding the right time and being in the mood for it. I prefer Matt as Reverse Flash every time it's fresh and new. And for Tom to be him only when Barry travels back to season 1. That would also be my preference. Again, I know why they do it. I just story reasons. Matt should have been in so much of this show, so much more than he did. You saying going forward we understand Groot. I like that. Oh, okay, fair enough. It'd be weird, but I'd be down for it. Cal needs to die in the next game. Every Jedi that survives past the OT invalidates the line, "Last of the Jedi you will be." Well, I mean, you got to think about it too, though. This is from Yoda's perspective. Yoda's not had contact with anybody else. As far as he knows, he might be the last of the Jedi. I don't think it invalidates it. I just think the whole series is about how wrong Yoda has been. Like, he's wise in his knowledge of the Force, but his values are still rooted in the things that brought the Jedi to their knees. And I think that's something we also need to remember. So, I don't know. I don't think that necessarily lines up wholeheartedly. But you got to remember, too, there is still plenty of time before he ever utters that line, so Cal very well could die. There's plenty of time between now and then for something to happen, but, you know, we still don't know when. I mean, Ahsoka survives all of it. We know there's other handful that are alive post all of that as well, though who and how many, don't know exactly, but the Force lives on, and is he even really a Jedi anymore? He carries their values, but he's like, the Order's gone. So he's allowing himself passion. He's allowing these things that the Order banned. So, like, would you consider him a Jedi? Ahsoka doesn't consider herself a Jedi. Yoda definitely didn't consider it a Jedi when it's all a point of view, as Obi-Wan would say. I don't know. Superman Lois returns this Tuesday. Yes, it does. Reverse Flash wasn't there because of scheduling. Who's scheduled? Don't tell me it's Tom. Please! Well, I was talking about Crisis. I don't know about anything else. But we're going to see Tom again. Say what you want. We got live action Kevin Conroy, part 4. Actually had great writing because of Mark Wolfman. I really did like that whole bit too. Has anyone seen the show Unicorn Warriors Eternal? I've heard of it. I've not watched it. James confirmed that Drax saved the High Evolutionary. It was a blink and you'll miss it. I did see that. I did see that. Have I seen the trailer for Funko Fusion? I have no idea what that is, so that's a big old no. Now that I watched the movie for a second time, Groot date saying "I love you guys" was probably just translated for the audience, and he did say "I am Groot." Well, it's as we said. We can understand him now. Did he say "I am Groot"? Yes. But what we hear is what he said. So, like, you're right, but it's still exactly what we just talked about. How do I catch up with Sora's timeline in Kingdom Hearts so far, Omni? Whew. You got two options. You play the games, or you watch a really long-ass video on YouTube. There's a couple that are really good. Great resource is Everglow. His channel is brilliant. Like, he is like a powerhouse in just like assembling like timelines, compilations of different things. There's like, he has a timeline breakdown of everything, and then just like full movie, like watch throughs of everything. Him and Damo are great channels for just watching the storyline, but there's also some great like need to knows for it. It's just, at this point, it's just so dense with stuff, and there's a lot. Even if you're just trying to follow Sora's timeline, you have to know the other tertiary ones to understand the things that happened to him. So it's, even as much as you want to hone in on just Sora, you still kind of have to consume the other side games where maybe he wasn't in it, maybe he was a side character, or maybe he just wasn't there at all. To know what happens later, you still kind of have to dabble into those territories. So it's not really that easy to catch up on everything. But if you can't play the games, I mean, you can get all of them on any platform at this point. But time's a factor. Accessibility is a factor. You can always go to YouTube and just watch a whole breakdown of everything. You need a demonic voice modifier for the soundboard. I might have to work into that. I have some presets, but I just don't remember what they are, so I don't dare hit any of them. Because I haven't played around with them since I set up this deck anyway. AI stuff is weird. Yes, it is. Love how you react to Tony Snap in What If Episode 6. Honestly, I don't remember. I don't remember. I wouldn't be on an Iron Man recast, personally. I wouldn't mind seeing Spidey and Iron Man together on the big screen. For story reasons, Matt should have played Thawne. Agreed. What's the real reason, Omni? I may have forgotten. He was on another show. His schedule was rarely open, and Tom Cavanaugh was on the payroll, so they didn't have to pay him anything extra to just be there and play the character. He was already a regular. He was already there. He was already in Vancouver. He was already on their payroll. So if they needed somebody, he's just right there. And there's no extra effort that has to go into asking Tom to put on the Reverse Flash suit. It's cheaper. It was easier. I feel like Cal would be extremely problematic during the OT. He would join the rebellion. Well, we know a lot of people did and worked in the background, like Ahsoka and the Ghost team in general. So it just matters to what extent. Because, I mean, apparently the Ghost team was at the Battle of Endor, up in space doing their thing. So, like, it's just to what extent? I mean, all of that is still broken at this point. The Clone Wars, Ahsoka, Rebels, all of it has already kind of started to shake those grounds. And I don't think one more Jedi will really kind of throw that big of a wrench into it. Force wielders. Far as wise as Yoda is and was, I think there's something to be said for the fact that he taught the old ways. There were problems with the old ways and the order. Exactly. Which is why I think Luke doing what he did was the right thing for him to do. And the righter thing to do would have been for Yoda to acknowledge that and help guide him down that. Then maybe there's a different path for this instead of to continue to stick to those ways. Again, everybody was telling him to do the other thing, and what did he do? He brought balance by ignoring everything they said. That was the lesson. That was the failure in the Jedi. They failed to help Anakin, and they carried those into almost failing his son. I don't know. And it's not their fault. Like, they have great ideals. It's just they got lost along the way. No, it's why Qui-Gon would have been such a pivotal force had he not been killed off. Damn. Anakin had a lot of overwhelming attachments that made the Council doubt to Palpatine to get to him. How did Luke solve that for himself? He didn't have a Palpatine puppeting his every move, and he also had a nurturing upbringing that made things a little bit better for him. He had the equipment that Anakin necessarily didn't have, and the humbling that Anakin didn't necessarily have. He had all the other attachments, but he was kind of built up to have the wherewithal to be able to resist the pull, unlike Anakin. I don't know. That's kind of how I see it. How he solved it, it's just he had a different upbringing. He had a different life. He had a different set of ideals. He was a more hopeful person, and I think that's because he got a little bit more of that. You know, he's a perfect little balance and amalgamation of Padme, who was that kind of idealist, and Anakin, who was a little... Man, I show up an hour late to watch the glitchiest stream. Are we back? We're not far from finishing the chat, so I'm just going to probably just powerhouse through these last couple questions, and we'll just call it a night, man. This is getting too frustrating for me at this point. Let's see, where were we? I don't know. I don't remember the last thing I said. Anyway, Luke had a different upbringing. He had better tools to work through this. He wasn't just Anakin's son. He had these elements of Padme and Anakin that he was able to blend, and he just had the better set of tools to help him navigate that situation when it came for him. I would recommend the Unicorn Wars Eternal. It's pretty good. Super watch immediately whenever time kind of worth watching, checking out, see if you feel it. If you're watching FNAF movie to understand the lore, just play the first game and you will understand a little bit. I'm going to go in the movie blind, that's for sure. What did you think of Bill Murray's performance as Lord Kylar and Ant-Man? It was okay. It was fine. It wasn't outstanding by any stretch of the imagination. So yeah, I don't know. It was okay. It was whatever. I didn't have any thoughts of it at all. It was a little weird, but it didn't take me out of the movie, but it also didn't make me all that excited when he popped up. I feel like Yoda wasn't really at fault for the fall of the Order. They lost all as soon as they devoted themselves to the Republic. No, I'm not putting the fault solely on Yoda. Only in that, like, for the fall of the Order. The fall of the Order is just the nature of the beast and the transition into their devotion to the Republic. But Yoda's failure is in not realizing and not acknowledging where they failed, even after they failed. And in the end, it didn't really fail because, thankfully, he was ignored by somebody who followed their heart, which is something I feel like the Jedi lost because they weren't following their heart. They weren't following the Force, as Qui-Gon would say. I'm so lost in FNAF. Five Nights at Frank's. I think that might have been an autocorrect error. Galore. Hopefully I can keep my head above water once I get into it. How did Savitar's lights turn red when Barry entered the suit? His voice should have been modulated too. I don't know what we're talking about here. You mean like in season 3? Because I don't remember. I think Cal's one of my favorite Force characters. He's excluding Revan, he's my favorite canon Force user now. Like, he just is. But if we're including Revan, it's definitely Revan. Is Black Widow 2 ever going to happen? No. I hope they say it at D24. It won't. If it happens, it'll be with Yelena. It won't. Obviously, it's not going to be with Scarlett Johansson, but maybe. But there's no plans. There's no announcements. It's not on the roadmap. But it doesn't mean it's not gonna happen. So I'll watch Mando season 3 pitch meeting. It's so funny. Probably not, because it'll probably just make me mad because I'm worried. So many people misunderstood that season. And with a show like Pitch Meeting, I'm sure that they're going to make all the same mistakes and observations everybody else has made that have just been wrong. So I'm just going to ignore it. I'm not going to watch it. Robaka Unified as France. Maybe a trailer. I'm not sure what that was about. Maybe a trailer for what? I don't remember. The stream cut out and I lost most of my memory. I'll try to scroll back and see. What did I miss? Oh, the Black Widow thing. A trailer for Black Widow 2. Okay, never mind. Sorry. Wow, that was just right. I literally just talked about that and I already forgot the context. I'm in a hot mess right now, man. And there goes the stream. Fast and Furious trailer was 4 minutes long. I didn't watch that last trailer because I just, there's no need for a trailer to be that long. I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I didn't watch that trailer when I went to see the movie. What's up, Busy? We've had the glitchiest stream in a long time. The internet keeps going out. I'm trying to wrap up though. We're going to be wrapping up here in just a couple seconds, probably. Let's see. Luke wasn't a slave. Luke had 2 parents who loved him and were honest with him about responsibilities, if not about who he was. That is very true. Anna Baru also, man, Obi-Wan, for all its faults, made Owen skyrocket to one of he's probably in my top 10, maybe top 20 at worst Star Wars characters of all time, thanks to Obi-Wan. That characterization for Owen there, like, made that character so much cooler than half of the universe. Owen and Beru and them raising Luke and the conditions he was raised in and the love that he was given are all these things that Anakin didn't really have. He had all of the prestige, he had all of the talent, but he didn't really have the proper nurturing. And again, I don't know. It's just like Luke is also not only Anakin. Like there's other attributes that go into that. But yeah, those are other two key factors there. Farm boy, man, you can't go wrong with farm boys. Look at Superman and look at Luke. Well, say that, and then shit happens, apparently. Anyway, it seems pointless to me that Bill Murray, the character, wasn't that special. It was just weird, and the whole, I don't know. It's whatever. I just didn't enjoy that movie outside of Jonathan Majors' performance. A lot of the movie just didn't do anything for me. It was fine. It was forgettable. That's it. Let's see. Sean, try saying kitten calendar 10 times. Sam did it in Transformers 2, and it was hilarious. I'm good. Don't beat yourself over this, Omni. I'm gonna go. The stream's lagging way too much. Can't understand. Hope you take care. Take care, Sean. No problem. I think we're good. I'm caught up at least. I know everybody's pretty much tapped out at this point, but thank you guys for the super chats, and the conversations and putting up with this bullshit. Hopefully next weekend it's not this bad. I don't know what's happened. Since changing up everything else, like we've been able to at least have decent conversations without interruption for some time, but I guess today was just not that day. But I'm going to relax tonight. I might work on How to Train Your Dragon. Maybe I'll work on some bounties, since clearly I won't be able to stream that like I was hoping, because I was wanting to stream some of my like platinum run stuff, but I don't think that's going to be feasible with this, so I might just pre-record that, I guess. But thanks you guys for hanging out, for tuning in, for putting up with everything and rejoining the stream whenever it would go down. But sorry to be a little bit of a bummer, but hope everybody has a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you all hopefully next weekend. Take care, everybody.